Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Best Football Show. I'm Brian Baldinger, the host. I'm here every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. You can find me at Baldy NFL across all the social media platforms, and you can find this daily podcast. Just download a free Odyssey app, and then like, subscribe, and follow the Best Football Show. We'd really appreciate it. We're trying to grow this thing. And Thursdays, we are now calling 3-and-Out Thursdays. It's really a great concept. I'm going to take 3 games that I think are marquee games this week. I'm not saying that the others aren't, but we have time for 3, and then we'll break down Thursday night's game, which is a doozy tonight up at Lambeau Field. So 3-and-Out Thursdays, let's get it started. My first game is the Steelers at Pittsburgh. It's the Steelers' home opener. Aaron Rodgers coming off a big win against his former team, the New York Jets. He threw 4 touchdown passes. He was magnificent. Didn't throw for a lot of yards, but he was very accurate. He also took some, monster shots. Like I was going to put together a little film package of him just getting tattooed in the pocket, but I thought it was too violent. Like he got hit hard in that game. Now, the good thing is Aaron got up from every hit. It didn't look like it scathed him much, but I know this. No quarterback, including a 41-year-old quarterback, can survive the hits over the course of a season like he took last week from the Jets. That being said, to me, this is the DK Metcalf game. Because last week, Jackson Smith-Njigba had a big game for Seattle against San Francisco in a loss, but they scored 13 points. They need more point scorers. Their running game got shut down. All right, Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet, the run game was nowhere to be found. And so, Sam Darnold's out there. All right, he found Njigba, but he didn't get anything from Cooper Kupp, didn't get anything from his tight ends. Like, I think they missed DK a lot. Meanwhile, DK was leading receiver in Pittsburgh. And look, he ran into his battle with Sauce Gardner. Sauce played him really, really good, but he shook him loose a bunch of times. He had about 80 yards on 4 catches. Now they spread the ball around in Pittsburgh, but I feel like, when you put together the game plan to broadcast these games, you're like, okay, what's the storylines? Well, the story is DK leaving Seattle and being signed by Pittsburgh with a big fat contract and looking like he's loving life in Pittsburgh to the point where they let George Pickens go to Dallas and don't seem like they miss him at all. Because I think we saw Calvin Austin step up, Roman Wilson step up, the tight end step up. But Pittsburgh was not good in the trenches at all. Like, it was really disappointing. They weren't good up front protecting Aaron. Broderick Jones had his struggles. I'm not going to call out guy by guy. But they got to Aaron Rodgers. They sacked him 4 times. They hit him 7 times. They had 7 tackle for losses. Like, it was not a good game for the Steelers' offensive line. And defensive line was even worse. The Jets came off the ball. Armand Membu, a rookie, Joe Tippmann making his first start at right guard. Like, they ran for 182 yards. And I thought that Justin Fields played great. And I thought the Jets deserved to win. If Xavier Gibson doesn't fumble a kickoff in the 4th quarter, the Jets probably win that game, and deservedly so. So, if I'm Pittsburgh, like, I don't know why they weren't playing Y.A. Black and some of these young defensive linemen, but I'd get him on the field. Like, that kid is going to be a good player, but he played very little, sparingly. So they've got to get much better up front. And then Seattle's defensive front, led by Leonard Williams. Big Cat was as good as any defense lineman in this league in the opening week of the season. He was a monster. But, so was Jerron Reed and Byron Murphy. Like, they played really good on the front. Christian McCaffrey had a bunch of yards, but took him a lot of carries. Like, they didn't really, he got a couple runs the whole day. Brian Robinson, a couple runs. But they played, by and large, they played really well. It took a 4th quarter touchdown pass with 2 minutes to go to a 3rd tight end, Jake Tongas, to win the game against Seattle. So I'm sure they're looking for revenge in Pittsburgh this week, likewise. DK Metcalf game. The next game I want to get to is also back in New York at MetLife Stadium, Buffalo in New York. Buffalo obviously coming off, a magnificent comeback win, down 40-25 in the 4th quarter, and, winning that game 41-40. It was magnificent. They protected Josh Allen. He brought him back. They got the turnover. Ed Oliver got the ball out of Derrick Henry's hands. They turned it into a touchdown. They missed going for 2, but they got the ball back at the end and went down and kicked the game-winning field goal. It was but here's the thing. Buffalo gave up 238 yards rushing, a lot of it to Derrick Henry and those big runs. Lamar Jackson had his runs. They were not good defensively against the run. Now, it's interesting because when at the end of the game, when Baltimore tried to just play the game out and run it out, they couldn't do it. And it was interesting. They decided to run wide on both occasions before they threw it to DeAndre Hopkins, short of first down. But if you're going to have success against Buffalo, Buffalo's strength is in their speed. You know, Matt Milano can flat out run. Terrell Bernard, they can run. Taron Johnson can run. Like if you run wide against Buffalo, I think you're not going to have as much success. But you do when you run right at them. They're undersized up front. Ed Oliver played great. He was a dominant player. But you're better off running right at Buffalo. And I think that's what the Jets want to do. That's what they did to Pittsburgh. They ran right at them from the first play of the game when Brees went off left tackle for, 16 yards. Like they ran for 182 yards on 39 carries. If I'm the Jets, maybe I try to get to 40 carries this week. I know this. When the Jets have beaten Buffalo in recent years, they win the turnover battle. And last week, they lost the turnover battle. Xavier Gibson's fumble was the difference in the game. The Jets have always struggled to take the ball away. Quinn Williams got the ball out of a back's hands last week. They didn't recover. Pittsburgh got on top of it. So, but when they have beaten Buffalo and Josh Allen, they have forced fumbles and forced interceptions. Now, the good thing is Will McDonald and Johnson, like they looked really good. Quinnen, their starting defensive line played really good. I'm a little worried about their safeties, a little worried about the corner opposite Sauce Gardner. But those are things to really look out for in this game. The penalties are still a problem for the Jets. Like it was all year last year. But they had stupid penalties last week again. And I know it's an emphasis of Aaron Glenn. I think they had 7 for 70 yards or something. It's still an issue. The good thing is Justin Fields, Garrett Wilson, they played great. Watch from this Mason Taylor, Jason Taylor's son, the second-round pick from LSU, the tight end. Like, I think he's going to be a really good player. Didn't get much action the first game, but I think he just runs so well. And I got to give props to Tanner Engstrom, the new offensive coordinator that came from Detroit with Ben Johnson, to be the offensive coordinator for Aaron Glenn. He had a great game plan. He marries formations and movements and shifts to really sell the run game and then to help protect on the edges against guys like TJ Watt, and Alex Highsmith, who had no effect on the game at all. I thought the Jets' offensive line was as good as anybody week 1 in the league. And there were some good performances, but that was as good as anybody's. So if they can build on that, I think this can be a real game. It's just a question right now, can the Jets defense do anything to slow Josh Allen down, putting up 41 points in that comeback win? But it's going to come down to, can they take the ball away? They get 2 takeaways in the game, the Jets are going to win the game. Final game I want to talk about is Chicago at Detroit. It's the Ben Johnson Bowl. Let's face it. Ben Johnson leaves Detroit. They look awful without him and Tanner Engstrom last week. They couldn't run the ball at all. They ran, their 2 backs, David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, they were the number 1 offensive football last year. Both those guys were awesome, especially Jahmyr Gibbs down the stretch. They ran combined 20 times for 44 yards. Green Bay sold out to stop the run. Linebackers, Edgerrin Cooper, all right, Quay Walker, like they just crashed the line of scrimmage. They sold out to stop the run, and Detroit couldn't take advantage of it. They had one explosive play the whole day. Green Bay didn't allow the explosives, and they stopped the run. Now Ben Johnson goes to Chicago. It's a disappointing loss on, Monday night. Monday night. It was really disappointing. Caleb didn't play well. Missed a lot of open receivers, but they couldn't run the ball well, and the offensive line didn't play well. It was a poor offense performances. Those guys they brought in, Drew Dahlman and Jonah Jackson, they didn't play good. They didn't play good individually. They didn't play well as a group. Now, they went up against the Vikings, which is an elite defensive front and an elite defensive scheme. Brian Flores is just really talented. So here's the issue I saw with Caleb in the offense. He's under center. He's taking 7-step drops, 5-step drops, 3-step drops. The timing with his drops, meaning he takes a 7-step drop off, bootleg fake, play action fake, and he hits his back foot and he's hitching to throw, and nobody is looking for the ball a number of times, or nobody has won their route, and there's no place to go with the ball. And Caleb gets antsy. He's just not going to sit there. And so I thought that happened, whether 3-step or 5-step or 7-step, it happened too many times where it's not noticeable, where the timing between the quarterback getting to the top of his drop and ready to throw and receivers not ready to receive. It was an issue. Now, Caleb could have been too fast with his drops. That can happen. But the timing wasn't good. And they have to be better up front. Now, look, Detroit is not Minnesota defensively. They don't have the playmakers that Minnesota has. They don't have the scheme that Brian Flores has. They're a little bit more static in what they do. They showed their A-gap blitzes last week to Green Bay. Green Bay shut them down. You got to have your protections down. But Green Bay was ready for anything Detroit did defensively. So I would say that this is a game where, look, it's in Detroit. Amon-Ra St. Brown has said, I want you to boo Ben Johnson all game long, and I'm sure they're going to listen to him. But I do think Detroit misses Ben Johnson, and I'm waiting for, on a short week, Ben Johnson to get some of these things corrected on the offense to get ready. So that's going to be a good game. Those are 3-and-out Thursdays. The game on 3-and-out Thursdays is always going to involve the Thursday night game, which is Washington at Green Bay. And really, I saw Washington up close announce that game against the Giants last week. The Giants, 3 running backs, ran 15 times for 30 yards. Washington's emphasis this offseason was to improve the 30th ranked rush defense in football from a year ago. They brought in Dietrich Wise. They brought in Eddie Goldman. They brought in Javon Kinlaw, and they all played really stout at the point. And the Giants couldn't get any movement. So I feel like, and then on the back end, I think when you look at Marshawn Lattimore, Trey Amos, the rookie out of Ole Miss, and Mike Sanristel, that cornerback combination is very talented, and they really challenge. So I think, when you look at what Green Bay can do offensively, and all the receivers ate. Jordan Love was protected well. The rookie Matthew Golden, Jaden Reed got a touchdown. Romeo Dobbs, Tucker Kraft, they all had big catches. Jordan saw the field very, very good. They're going to have to pressure Jordan Love better than what Detroit did. And then on the other side, Green Bay's defense was, like I've already explained, Micah Parsons made a big difference. He played 30 snaps, just a little under half of them, and was a factor. The interception by Evan Williams, no doubt in my mind, he's coming right at Jared Goff, and he doesn't throw a great ball, or he doesn't see Evan Williams because Mike is right there, and they get the takeaway. Jeff Heffley, the defense coordinator, is very talented, and he's got a very good scheme. They've got corners that can press on the outside. They got a 4-man rush. They've got 2 linebackers in Edgerrin Cooper and Quay Walker that can fly. Really fly. And then, the safety play, Xavier McKinney, Bullock, they're very good. So, but Micah is going to be under the microscope tonight. Short week, no preseason. What are the legs like? How's the back? I have a feeling it's prime time. I have a feeling that tonight, Micah Parsons is going to show up like he did last week. Maybe even more plays, but Nobody moves and nobody chases like Micah Parsons. So you get Jordan Love moving, and Mike is on the hunt. He affects quarterbacks. He forces takeaways. So, and I thought he made everybody around him better. I thought Rashawn Gary was better. He had a sack and a half. I thought Lucas Van Ness was better. Colby Wooden. Like, I thought everybody was better with Micah's presence out there. And he looked like he was having fun. He looked energized to me. He was bouncing around. He was enjoying himself. He's from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. He's not he's from Philadelphia, but, he's not a big city guy. He'll fit in real well in Green Bay. He wants to be able to go out and eat pizza with his kids and not be mobbed like he was in Dallas. Like, I think the culture is going to be real good for him. And I think he understands some of the great players that have come before him that have been part of titles in Green Bay and what he can mean to this team and to this. So anyways, it's going to be a great game tonight. I didn't even mention Jaden Daniels, who was awesome last week. I didn't even mention Bill Crosby-Merritt, the rookie, 7th-round pick that led the team in rushing last week. That looks like he's going to be the starting running back. Didn't even mention Laramie Tunsil, and the new rookie right tackle that played well. So this is 2 playoff teams a year ago whose seasons ended in Philadelphia. Packers wildcard weekend against the Eagles and Washington in the championship game against the Eagles. Both those seasons ended there, but both teams look like playoff teams week 1. One of those teams is going to march on and be 2-0 after tonight. Can't wait to break the game down for everybody, tomorrow and into next week. All right, everybody, that's 3 and Out Thursday. Thanks for joining me. A little look at tonight's game as well. Look forward to talking to everybody next week. Have a great weekend. Enjoy week 2. This has been the Best Football Show.